everybody, welcome to the video wall. I am Gabby Sports, joined today by Willy Edel, and we are going to take a look at the deck that you're playing this weekend. Willy testing with Team Deck's Army, and your deck, Grixis Improvise Control, but we were kind of calling it Affinity earlier.
Yeah, it's not Control. Like the game you want, the deck is pretty much an aggro deck.
Yeah.
We have like play like an Affinity. If you think of modern Affinity, we have like a lot of blank cards, like air cards, like Menais, Ornithopter, Drum, this kind of stuff, and some payouts like Havager and Cranial Plate and so on. It's pretty much the same here. We have like these big payouts with a 5/5 for 3 mana haste creature. We have like a Hexproof Tarmogoyf from turn 3, and have like a big bad demon with amazing cards. And in order to play this card, you have to play a lot of draft cards, which is not that great. But when you have a mix of these two in a high balance, the decks can do like such powerful things.
So let's talk a little bit about these are kind of your finishers or your payout, right, for the deck?
Yeah, exactly.
So how good do you think the Bastion Inventor is just generally in the field?
Like for the field you expected, which is black, green, and Sahili, you didn't expect Mardu. Like you expect people to run in removal like Fatal Push and Grabs to Darkness and have like smaller creatures.
Yeah.
And against this removal, like these two completely dodges all this removal.
Yeah.
This guy can block very well. This guy can block like Heart of Kiran or 4/5
like
Vipers. And the Tezzeret Touch, like even if they kill, you still have value, like return the schematic or whatever artifact you use. So, and it's pretty good to pressure planeswalkers like Sahili, Nahili, Liliana, and Nissa.
How quickly are you getting out the Bastion Inventors and the Herald of Anguishes in this deck?
The Herald of Anguishes is usually like turn 3 or turn 4.
Yeah,
like,
3, 4 about. And then Tezzeret Touch you just kind of whenever you can.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So moving on, this is basically your interaction with other decks. You have some counter spells in the form of Metallic Rebuke. We also have Unlicensed Disintegration. Tell me a little bit what role these fill in your deck.
Yeah, we want like the least interaction possible, because you need like a good balance between payoffs and the enablers.
Sure.
So if you draw like payoffs and interaction, it doesn't work.
Gotcha.
Enablers and interaction doesn't work. So you need the least as possible. You need a couple bit counters to beat Sahili, and some removals to be like big hooks and this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And this card is probably the best remove. Like it explains a lot the meta game of the Pro Tour with Mardu and Black Red doing so well. And this card is so good on this deck as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. What are the biggest threats that you're trying to counter? You said like Gear Hulk, for example, Sahili. Are there any other things that you just are worried about with this deck?
Yeah, this is a 1 mana mana leak on this deck because we have so many artifacts.
Yeah.
And usually like you stop either removal on the demo on the big payouts.
Yeah.
Or like sweepers from like Fumigates on the Hexproof guy. You stop to being comboed by both of these cards.
Yeah.
Like you can either kill the Felidar or counter whatever piece.
Sure.
So I was pretty happy in the Sahili matchup and against the Black Green matchup.
Yeah.
Mardu is another story.
Yeah, Metallic Rebuke seems fantastic in your deck. So here are your enablers, sort of, right? You were calling the Implement of Combustion the Llanowar Elves, basically.
Yeah, this is the Llanowar Elf, like, but it's a split card, like it's a Pitching Needle on the combo, like it's pretty much a pitching Needle on Sahili that happens to add mana, happens to draw cards, that does everything, and Puzzle Knot and Servo Schematics, that's just a 2 mana Sol Rings.
Yeah.
Like, it's so good.
So for someone who maybe is not as familiar, why is Implement of Combustion like a Pithing Needle for Sahili?
That's how the combo works. Like they play Felidar and they play Sahili. Then Sahili comes with 3 loyalty counters, and you have to -2 to copy the cat. So when they -2 to copy the cat, you just like 1 damage to you, redirect to Sahili, Sahili dies, and they combo with.
Yeah.
And you draw a card.
Yeah,
it's so much value.
It's pretty cool too, because a lot of decks have been playing Implement of Combustion in their sideboard, but here in this case you just get to play it in your main deck.
Yeah,
it's like a main deck answer.
Yeah. It's so good.
What about Renegade Map, Servo Schematic?
Like it's a 3-card deck, and Renegade Map happens to be an artifact, so it adds mana sometimes to the Improvise and fix your mana base. The mana base is pretty good. And the schematics in Cognor, like they do everything. Like they add 2 mana for the Improvise. They can carry the Tezzeret Touch to attack for 5 as a haste, and if they die, you have all the value in the world. Return to your hand, pop another token. And I call them the Sol Ring. Like it's 2 mana Sol Ring.
The Sol Ring.
Like, have you ever played a deck with 8 Sol Rings? Here we go.
These are all the 8 Sol Rings. Yeah, these are fantastic. They definitely fill the role that you need them to in your deck. And moving on, We have, you said basically this is kind of your mid game, right?
Yeah, sometimes you don't have like a demo on turn 3 or something.
Yeah.
You just can play the Legendary Souls on turn 3 and introduce you 4 power for 3 mana. It's better than Legendary Souls. Legendary Souls you pay 5 mana. So this guy is actually better. And he adds 2 mana for the demo that coming later.
Yeah.
He has like artifact folder for the demo, the tokens pressure, planeswalker, and so on. The peer does pretty much the same, but he has another advantage on sacrifice your own artifacts.
Yeah.
You can sacrifice the schematics to pop another token. You can pump tokens when a mana flooded. You can do everything.
Yeah.
And the key just force damage with the hexproof guy, which is pretty much unbeatable against control deck. You play the hexproof and the key.
And then you use a key.
Cannot block with gear hooks or mana lands or anything. You can just force. And of course, if a mana flooded, you just discard all these lands and draw cards.
Yeah.
And if you improvise a spell with the key, when you untap, you draw a card.
Oh, you get to use it still.
Exactly.
Very cool.
It's so good.
Very cool. And then following after that, we have some of your lands. These are your non-basic lands. Anything remarkable about your mana base?
No, the mana base is pretty clean. You have like the State of Brass that like is improving the State of Brass, and sometimes you give colorless mana. The mana base is so clean. You only have like 2 lands that can possibly come into play untapped, tapped. But like, as you will see in the next slide, we have like 10 basics and 4 maps. These lands pretty much all the time comes into play untapped. So the mana base is pretty clean. I was pretty happy with that.
And lastly, we just have some of your basics. And this is your deck. This is a super awesome deck, Willy. Thank you so much for taking some time to talk to us today. For Willy Edel, I'm Gabby Spart signing out from the video wall.